This next question is for Lisa. My dad made my mom a promise to not tell us kids about HD until we were teenagers. I found out that I was at risk when I was 16. I was angry that I didn't find out sooner. I now have tested positive and am finding myself in a similar situation with my own children, ages 7, 8, and 12. How do I start the conversation? How do I not repeat what I went through?
We get this question a lot. It's a fabulous question. And I'm also going to defer to Mara, who's also been through this several times, and maybe even Katie, because she has the situation. She shared that earlier. What I would tell you is if you want the scenario to be different, versus because you found out it was a family secret, you had a lot of anger, then the approach that you take has to be that you're going to be open, honest, and authentic with your children. Now, your children are 7 and 8, which are similar developmental ages, but 12 is obviously a very different than 8 or 7. So your approach to how you're going to talk to your children about this is going to have to be different. So you're not going to be able to sit them, all three of them, down necessarily and talk the same way to all three of them. Part of it is did it say that she was symptomatic? So part of the issue is, are you symptomatic? Are you not symptomatic? Is this just information that you have, or are you actually experiencing symptoms that the kids may be seeing or noticing? Part of the scenario is just to sit down with them and just open it up that we have this illness that runs in our family. It's called Huntington's disease, and this is what it does. And if you have any questions about it, we're going to explore it together over the years. My guess is your 7 and an 8-year-old will be like, okay, and probably just run off, and it won't really affect them at that moment in time. Your 12-year-old, depending on their personality and sort of maturity, they may ask more questions and they may not. They're kind of all at that age where you're just going to give them information, but you've now opened the door for them to be able to come back and ask you questions. And I think that's the one thing that I always try to reiterate to families that have youth is you need to make sure that they come to you with their questions. So you need to make it clear that, yes, we have this in our family. It can be scary, but we're going to get through this together, and I'm going to answer any questions that you have. And if I don't know the answer, we're going to find someone who does, or we're going to find it together online. And the reason I say that is because if you Dr. Google Huntington's disease, scary stuff pops up. You don't know if it's legitimate stuff that pops up. Sometimes it's videos from 30, 40 years ago. And as Terry mentioned earlier, we've come a long way in the treatment of Huntington's. And so what it looks like now versus what it looked like 30 years ago is different. So you want to make sure that they're getting valid, authentic, honest, truthful information, and the best place for them to get that is from you personally. Name Huntington's disease, give it a name, and then tell your kids, please come to me if you have any questions, and we will figure this out together. Mara, do you have any? Family secrets don't usually go over well. I will just put that out there.
Family secrets just don't work very well at all. It does end up with people ending up being angry, and even though the parents are feeling like they're protecting their children, it ends up making the child feel more like my parent didn't trust me to have this information. And it can be very detrimental. I mean, I think we're all human, and all of us on the panel and all of us that you're listening, I think one of the things we do as humans is we try to avoid pain. And these conversations are hard. Having these conversations are painful. And so I do sort of get a lot of people that tell me when my parents told me about it, it was like a big giant information dump. They literally took everything in their brain about Huntington's disease they knew and just dumped it on me, and I didn't know what to do with any of it. And so reiterating what Lisa said of just being developmentally appropriate, of sharing just the very basic information about what the condition is and letting them ask the questions, and just make it, like she said, make it clear that you can always come back and ask me more questions about this. I'm just giving you the basics today.
I guess I would ask Katie how you maybe approach that.
I thought about you last night. So this interesting thing happened last night. I was sitting out, we were working, most people don't see there's 9 computers going right now. It's a big deal to put something like this on, and it takes a lot of work. So we were working really late, getting everything going, and I went outside and I was sitting with Michael Sabato, and we were going over all the questions and making sure everything would go smooth. And Cooper comes outside and he sits down. He's my 14-year-old. And here I am. Last night, Lisa said they will probably ask you at the most inopportune time. So I'm sitting there stressed out, ready for today. And Cooper comes out and he is teary-eyed. And he sits down next to me and he said, Mom, I'm terrified of Huntington's disease. I'm terrified I'm going to get it. I'm so scared. So I'm not sleeping tonight, obviously. So we sat up for hours and talked about family support. What does that mean? What does that look like? How are we going to get through this? I said, I'm going to pull up Mommy's show with Unicure. I'm going to show up Mommy's show with Vasinex. We're going to start talking about research. We're going to start talking about what's coming. What does hope mean on a personal note? This is not on a professional note. We even talked about maybe where Dad is now and what does that mean? And that's really hard for me because I'm so I love the science, but I even had to get there with him. And I didn't sleep last night because I was up all night talking to Cooper, and they need that. You can see it. And I think it's so funny what you say, because I was like, blah, blah, blah. I'm over talking him and he's trying to talk and I'm like, no, but. And then I had to stop and I was like, wait, he's trying to tell me something. Stop, Katie, shut up, which is very hard. And listen to him because his feelings are so strong right now. And this is the time. It's really important just to talk to them. And it's so amazing how they perceive everything and what they think. They're so brilliant. Children they're smarter than we even give them credit for. And so, yeah, I think that age appropriate. Cooper is 14 and his thoughts on how he could make Huntington's easier in his life were very interesting. And so, yeah, I think that talking is the most important thing, period, is showing them we are here and there is a family that's going to support you and love you. You are not alone. I think that's the biggest thing. And he started crying when I said this. I said, Cooper, you are never going to be alone, ever. You're never going to do this. That journey you will never do by yourself. And I think that's so important for them to know, because Huntington's is scary anyways. And to think that they have to do it by themselves is terrifying. So,
and especially in where there's multiple siblings, of not just what does this mean for me, but what does this mean for my sisters? What does this mean for my brother? What the heck is going to happen? It's the unknown that is so terrified. And from someone who, it was at risk, I feel that in my bones when you said what Cooper was saying. It's just, and you listening was the best thing, giving him hope, showing him what but also just listening and being there. I mean, that's what we have.
And to my community out there, it is the hardest thing to listen to your children's fear about Huntington's disease. It is so hard to look them in the face and know, I can't help. I'm going to support you and I'm going to stand by your side, but I'm so helpless. Man, we need to find that treatment. We don't need to be helpless anymore, and hold tight to that hope. But until then, yes, thank you for that, Lisa. Is talk to them openly and honestly, and secrets are not good, because they're going to go somewhere else and find out if it's not from you.